Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is going to be two vampire accounts versus a dwarf and empire player who are already set up in a pretty defensive formation. But this is another battle with me and Surreal, and for this one I was telling him how kinda cool Heinrich Kemmler is with his Chaos Blade that will allow regeneration when he's in combat for up to 3 units around him, and that stacks with the other regeneration of Master of the Dead and Invocation of the Heck. And he said, that sounds pretty cool, so I'm going to bring it. So we have two Heinrich Kemmlers here. We have like 4 Necromancers total combined with the two of us. He has a front line of zombies. I have a front line of skeletal warriors. Behind those, he has multiple grave guards. Some of them have great weapons. We have like 6 crypt horrors. And then I also have, I think, 5 groups of crypt ghouls behind the grave guards. We just mixed up our army here. I also have a vampire in the center. Both Heinrich Kemmlers have that Chaos Tomb Blade. I don't know if he brought the other weapon, because there's another artifact you can bring with him that increases his melee or his like resistances if you activate it. Actually, Surreal, did he even? Oh, there it is. There's the Chaos Tomb Blade. Okay, so yeah, he brought that, but he didn't bring the other artifact. I did, which will increase like physical and fire and magic resistance by 22%, I think, for a little over 20 seconds, but has a very long cooldown. But anyway, we'll look at that later. The rest of our army is, I think we have 2 Vargulfs. Yeah. We have 2 puppies sitting here in my army, and then over here we have 2 Blood Knights sitting off in the wings. For the enemy players, we have a front line of spears, a couple swordsmen, front line of dwarf warriors, a steam tank, 2 thanes, a runesmith, the High King, 3 quarrelers, 2 crossbows, empire captain, amber wizard, long beards with great weapons. Again, those long beards over here, and then we have a group of slayers in the back. Hell cannon, or hell blaster volley gun, or oh my god, no, hell storm. There's too many hells. Hellstorm rocket batteries, and then a mortar team back here to back up the steam tank and artillery, I guess. So those are the armies. We are going to crest this hill very soon, and then we're going to see what awaits us, and we both let out an audible sigh. The battles that you saw before this, the one with the king and the dwarves, when I was doing the artillery stuff, those were fought actually after this battle. So it was this one that prompted us to get into like super, like, we're just gonna be kind of a little trolly maybe. So that's what happened in the previous battles, but this one is technically fought first in this last set of 3. So here go the zombies. They're going to crest over there, then we see those, and here come the rockets. Getting into the zombies, the Blood Knights are going to be going over into the right flank in these trees for a little bit. Yeah, 2 Heinrich Kemmlers, and there's a lot of regeneration. So again, the idea behind this, for me, I brought the Vargulfs and a lot of crypt horrors because they have natural regeneration. I'm going to try and always keep a necromancer near them to give them Master of the Dead regeneration that it turns off in melee. So make sure your necros are not in melee if you want Master of the Dead. And then we're going to have Heinrich Kemmlers, and they're in melee to activate their Chaos Tomb Blade regeneration, and all of those things are going to stack, which is kind of the idea of this army. Just outlast the other army that you're going to be going up against. That is the plan anyway. So here we go. We are charging their lines very slowly because zombies are not known for their speed. Woo. I mean, one group of zombies is taking a lot of damage, but that's really not bad at all. In fact, I think, is the steam tank even firing at them? Eventually, they do switch their targets. There we go. So that steam tank is now fire. No way they're firing at skeletons. Maybe they're firing at the crypt horrors or the puppy. I'm not sure. I wouldn't think they would target skeletons though. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's Graveguard. Someone is their target. I don't know. And here we go. The crossbows are now going to be opening fire, so we are kind of wasting some ammunition. It's not going to be that much, so to be really super impactful. But this is what the zombies are for. Just take the fire and hope that the opponent does not actually manually aim their crossbows after more of your units come in range. That is the hope. Here we go. This Graveguard is taking some damage from the steam tank at this point. And the rest of our army is, I mean, a little damage here and there from the Hellstorm rocket batteries. We have a Manticore that's been summoned by the Amber Wizard. The Blood Knights are now behind the enemy. You can see the Slayers have responded to their positioning. As we get more mortars coming in on the skeletal lines. Over here we have an Invocation of the Heck being cast upon the army. I think that's Surreal doing that. And here we go. The zombies are in, and now here come the crypt horrors. So Surreal's forces are going to be taking care of the front line here. All of his Graveguard, his Cryptors. I am sending a puppy straight through the spears. Because you gotta remember, if you want to bust through a line, in this case there's a second line behind them, but if there's only one line, a Varghulf can go boom right through almost anything. In fact, they could probably go through these dwarves too if I had just given another attack order. But at this point, I'm too busy micromanaging my army to go around the flanks. As you see there and over here, these forces are going to be going around the flanks as well. But yeah, so Varghulfs are very good at getting through the lines and into what hopefully is going to be either the artillery or the crossbows on the other side. Just keep that in mind. Both puppies ran through these spears with no problem whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Graveguard, which are going to be Surreals, are going to be holding this line against these Dwarf Warriors and the Spearmen. And my force is just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to march around these lines. Here come the Blood Knights from behind. One group does get into those Slayers. But here comes the other one into the artillery. A beautiful charge. Meanwhile, here we have a Curse of Years dropping on most of the Dwarvish army here, which lowers their melee attack speed and ability recharge. Right here, so the enemy did a really good thing here. They focused down my puppies a lot with their crossbows. So right here, I actually have to withdraw the puppies from combat or else they will be focused down. So I'm going to let them regenerate out here. Eventually, I'm going to bring them back towards a Necromancer so they can regenerate faster. But yeah, it was a good call. The enemy here did focus them down and they started dropping really fast, which is why I had to get them out of there. So yeah, good charge against these artillery positions. The Slayers, I think, did some damage to the Blood Knights as they are supposed to. They are anti-large. They're kind of like the one dwarf thing, or the one thing the dwarves have in terms of infantry that can handle cav. Right here, I must be micromanaging some other things, probably the Varghulfs, because I'm pulling them back even further here. Because you can see they continually get focused down. So yeah, there they go. They're getting pulled back. Eventually, these forces, there they go, are going to be wrapped around the flanks here. Meanwhile, the front line for the humans has mostly just been dissolved into nothingness, and now it is up to the Dwarf Warriors to hold off these zombies, Graveguard, and all of these Cryptors. I did not realize we were both bringing 3 Cryptors, so 6 Cryptors is a lot. Like, it's kind of cheese at that point, honestly, but I didn't know he was bringing 3 as well. Here we go, we got the enemy Manticore into these Graveguard. The High King is trying to hold them off. Steam Tank doing what it can. More Dwarven reinforcements are coming in there. On the left and right flanks, my Cryptors, along with our Crypt Ghouls, and some of our Skeletal Warriors are going to be fighting against the remaining Imperial and Dwarvish infantry over here. So kind of pan out here just to show you what's happening. You can see some of the Spearmen have routed. On the right flank, we are pushing through with these Crypt Horrors, Crypt Ghouls, and the Skeletal Warriors. So we're going to be able to get into the squishier crossbows and quarrelers, which was the idea. The General of the Empire has gone out here to hold off some Skeletal Warriors with these Slayers as they hold off, I think, my Crypt Ghouls. Yeah, another group of Crypt Ghouls over here. Crypt Ghouls against Slayers is totally fine. That's a really good trade you should take as the Vampire Count player. Anytime. Any time of the day. Here comes the Blood Knights to assist in that fight, though. This fight is going to take a little bit longer on the left flank, but the right flank, as you saw, is going through. We're getting hit with a Flock of Doom, I think, from the Amber Wizard. But these crossbows now have no chance against Skeletal Warriors, Crypt Ghouls, and Crypt Horrors. So now we are firmly behind their lines. Here's some more Crypt Horrors over here, into more Quarrelers and Thunderers. Or, crossbows, not Thunderers. There are no Thunderers in this battle. The puppies are back. You can see they are going to be regenerating. I should have... There we go. We have a Necromancer over here. Just to show you the positioning. Necromancer over here. Necromancer over here. We have my Heinrich over here. Surreal's Heinrich is further in. So, like, all of these units, basically in this whole area, are being hit with some kind of regeneration, either by the Heinrichs or the Necromancer. Same thing over here. We have his Necromancer out here out of combat, which is the ideal. And I think at some point we pull a Necromancer over here, but that hasn't happened yet. But we're trying our best to keep our Necromancers separated so our entire army can enjoy the Master of the Dead buff. And now we're just finishing off these Dwarf Warriors with our Skeletons, Graveguard, and the Puppies. Meanwhile, back here, the Blood Knights have gotten a really good charge into the remaining Quarrelers and Crossbows. There are some Spearmen mixed in, though. But the artillery has been totally shut down by the cav at this point. And now we are just kind of having a field day. Some units are holding along on the fringes, but that doesn't matter. We've gotten units into their squishier parts, which was the whole goal. Since we have so much infantry, like, they really couldn't stop us from doing that. It was only a matter of time. Yeah, both puppies should be back in action now, as you can see right there, and their hit points are getting higher. And both Heinrichs, I think at this point, are also fine because they are fighting with our units, so they're not just being surrounded and taken out. Ooh, an Amber Spear shot from the Amber Wizard. There goes one of the Runesmiths. Not taking any damage yet, but they will against our Vampire. The Vampire has a self-heal, so that's really good. She also has the passive Bloodlust trait, which allows her to heal in combat, but on top of that, she has a secondary heal. So this army, as you can see, is just so focused on just healing through the damage. Here goes one of my Necromancers over here to support and heal this area over here. You can see this Vargulf is regenerated most of her hit points back. They were almost dead by the focused fire of the crossbows, but they have just been regenerated by invocation of the Heck, Master of the Dead, and not necessarily Heinrich. I don't think the Vargulf's are ever close enough to one of the Heinrichs to get his Chaos Tomb Blade regeneration. We have another flock of Doom coming down from the Amber Wizard on our Crypt Ghouls, who also have regeneration, so they're doing okay. The Crypt Horrors have regeneration. The Crypt Ghouls have taken kind of a beating, but that's okay. Amber Wizard holding on. Here comes their Manticore again to try and assist the Amber Wizard. The High King is now totally surrounded by armor-piercing units, so he should fall relatively... well, actually, maybe not. He's got standing ground right now, so it's going to be hard to actually pierce his defenses. But, in theory, all the armor piercing around him should bring him down, but he's actually kind of bringing us down. Oh my god, the king. He is very strong. Yeah, more armor piercing surrounding the steam tank, and as you can see, the lines of our enemies have faltered at this point. They do have some pockets of resistance here and there, but for the most part, our just superior numbers have kind of outdone them, so they don't really have much left other than a couple heroes. The Thanes are doing really well. That High King is holding off and actually killing my Crypt Horrors, which is, or Surreal's Crypt Horrors, which is very sad to see. The Runesmith, I think, is still around here. There they are. Still fighting against our Vampire. As she kicks him in the back. The thing is, though, if we can take out all of the units, the morale of the heroes will eventually break. But yeah, these Thanes, man. Thanes are really good. Thanes are really good. They're so cheap, potentially, and you can stick them with potions, so, like, they are really solid now. As for their actual infantry, though, not much. You can see a lot of shattering, or at least breaking. They are coming back a little bit here and there. But at this point, it's kind of just a matter of time. We still have so much of our armies left who are constantly being regenerated over time. It's just they don't have enough now, except for their heroes. You can see Heinrich in here in melee. Not something you would see before the patch, but with the Chaos Tomb Blade, definitely viable. Oh my god, that High King AoE. Holy crap. So yeah, we just got him. We have the Steam Tank. We have a Thane over here. We have the Runesmith and the Thane over here. That thing refuses to die, but again, we're just trying to break the morale at this point, because it takes forever to kill Thanes that have potions. They will fight forever. And you can see all these little lines coming off. That means they're currently, they have regeneration on them. Steam Tank should almost be dead since it's fighting against a Vargulf. And it's been fighting against Graveguard this whole time. I think is that my Heinrich? That's my Heinrich over here. And I brought a Necromancer close to Heinrich so that he could also get the Master of the Dead trait for regeneration, because he was starting to take some damage. Over here, we do have a Empire Captain trying to lead what is left of their forces against these Skeletal Warriors. So, good on you, Empire Captain. Good on you, as Crypt Horrors are chasing off the rest of your troops. You're trying, though, and that's Thanes over here as well. Thanes are going to do pretty good against Skeletal Warriors. The Skeletal Warriors are basically just kind of like a tar pit unit that have some damage potential. There goes the Steam Tank. We still have the General of the Empire because of their potions. They've been healing them through this battle. The High King is below half at this point. So that's good. The Runesmith, I think, is dead or broken. I think they died, maybe. But at this point, the entire army shatters because of losses, and they were surrounded. There was monstrous creatures nearby, so yeah, their leadership just broke. They just couldn't handle it anymore. So good game to my opponents and to Surreal. I really like this particular build of the vampires, and seeing what's coming ahead in DLC for the vampire counts, regeneration is even going to be that much bigger potentially, so I'm going to like that a lot, because they're vampires. They're undead. Like, the fact that the idea of regeneration just really... it's just really cool to me. And since, you know, Fate Abuna is not as strong as it used to be, Spirit Leech isn't really used. In fact, like, the Death lore isn't really used at all anymore. So because that's kind of been nerfed out, it leaves one of the strong builds, I think, to be a regeneration build. I think. I don't know if you could take this to, like, you know, the pro circuit or something, but it's a lot of fun to stack a bunch of Necromancers. Let's look at the kill count here. For me, Heinrich Kemmler getting 25 kills in melee. I guess it's not too bad. Vampire 36 is not bad. The Skeletal line did pretty well. They are super cheap, and they did pretty okay. Ghouls, 81 kills here, 75 there. That's really good for them. And the Crypt Horrors, I think, did pretty okay. Vargals also did fine overall. The Necromancers hopefully don't get any kills. Like, that shouldn't happen because they're not supposed to be in combat at all. And then for Surreal, his Heinrich got 16. His Necromancers got 0. Zombies, I mean, they died, which is what they're there for. Graveguard, these Great Weapon Graveguard did amazing. The Blood Knights did amazing. And these couple Crypt Horrors did also really good. For our enemies here, Empire, or General of the Empire, 92 kills, 87 on the Amber Wizard. Holy crap. Their main line of spears did okay. It looks like they were... I don't know if they earned those in combat or if they were bought beforehand. But they did pretty okay. The Swordsman did not. Crossbows did really well. Artillery got a lot of kills, but I think a lot of those are also against like zombies and skeletons, which aren't huge. And then the Steam Tank got 96. And then for the Dwarf player, 97 from the High King. Holy crap. Thanes. Look at those kills on those Thanes as they were just murdering skeletons. Holy crap. Overall, I think a pretty decent amount of kills across the board there. Let's take a quick look at those Necromancers. Let's see. So the way that I run the Necromancer, I've shown this before, I think, but just to go over it again, I do not do Curse of Undeath, but I do leave the Master of the Dead trait on for the regeneration, and then I will usually give them either just one spell each. It's either going to be Invocation of the Heck, and then another one may have Van Heel's Dance Macabre, or if I'm feeling crazy, I'll bring a Curse of Years. So with that, and then I usually also stick them with the Scroll of Shielding. You can see there are 424 for a unit that regenerates units around them. They still have one spell, and then they also have a scroll which can... I was using this to save Heinrich Kemmler, so for 67 seconds he had high damage resistance. 424 for a Necromancer. It is super cheap. And I mean, it's up to you if you want to add more spells to them and make them a little bit more expensive. But like, that's how I can get away with bringing like 2 when it doesn't even impact my costs. So it's super cheap. I would suggest trying it out. And then Heinrich, of course, would have... I don't use Curse of Undeath because I don't even bring any spells with Heinrich. He is only there as a buffer. Do not bring Master of the Dead because you want him in combat at all times. Still keep this, though, because that's a good buff. Because what you want is... I did try out Cloak of Mist and Shadows. It's pretty expensive, but for 43 seconds, you get pretty high physical resistance, and you also get Strider, but, I mean, Strider is whatever. But it's the Chaos Tomb Blade, and it also grants 8 melee attack to surrounding units on top of the regeneration, up to 3 units around him, if he's in combat. If he's in combat. So, the thing is, it counteracts the Master of the Dead. This only works out of combat, and then this works in. So anyway, that's the build. Hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. I will see you all next time. Leave your suggestions below on what you'd like to see. Have a good day, everyone.